Hello, Think Natalia community. Today, I want to introduce you to another phenomenal, super awesome human being that I was allowed to work with and guide a tiny little bit on his journey to more visibility, more leads, and customers on LinkedIn and beyond that. So, Alex, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Natalia.
For everybody who sees you for the first time, which is impossible because you're all over LinkedIn, shame on these people who have never seen you. Who are you, respectively? What do you do?
So good question. Who am I? I won't go into the long way to answer that, but I'm Alex and I work as a life coach. I work specifically with people from the corporate world who are maybe at a stage of their life where they feel that they're on a hamster wheel or chasing the carrot, and I get them to regain motivation and to feel more excited about their lives again.
And have you always done that, or what's the story behind it?
So I'm actually from the corporate world myself, and I had the privilege of working at some amazing companies like Google, Uber, and eBay. But throughout my time there, I had a few burnouts, kind of struggled with that corporate world, and so I decided to quit, go traveling, and I found this myself as a coach. I found a profession that I really love, and now I've got more tools and more knowledge to help as many people as possible to not get to the stage where I got, where you actually burn out and it's too much, and kind of allow people to continue to live their life without letting external circumstances dictate how they feel.
Amazing. And that is so needed nowadays. So thank you so much for doing that. Maybe one last tiny question when it comes to this bubble or this area of conversation. Where are you based? Where do you live?
So I'm based out of Amsterdam, but then like all my coaching happens remotely, so over Zoom. So I'm kind of location independent.
Awesome. Good. So why did you initially decide to approach us? I remember when I had a look at your LinkedIn profile, the few, especially in your info section, I just loved it because it had a few super random facts about you. I think singing the national anthem on a football
Rugby.
rugby stadium. Was like, this guy is awesome, amazing. He knows how to present himself. So what does he want? Tell us a little bit more about why did you initially approach us, or what was maybe the challenge or the leap of faith that you needed to overcome?
Mm-hmm. So I was on my journey of growing my coaching business, and at the beginning, I was kind of on all the different social media platforms, and I was kind of in between Facebook and LinkedIn, and I was getting way more engagement on Facebook, but then the people that were engaging with my content weren't really my ideal clients, or weren't they weren't really relevant for what I was trying to do. And so at some point, instead of having loads of these different, or spreading all my eggs in over different baskets, which is what they tell you to do, I just decided to put all my eggs in one basket, which is, I don't know if that's wise, but for now that's the decision I decided to make, and just focus purely on LinkedIn. And so that's when I started looking for coaches, and I came across your profile.
Oh, amazing. Okay. I know the story of trying here and trying there and trying there. And yeah, I'm a big believer in focus on one thing first. Make sure that it works for you. Make sure that you build a community, that you generate leads, get paying clients, then reinvest that money into somebody who helps you. And then we can focus on the other or the next outlet. It could be then Facebook, it could be Instagram, it could be YouTube, but it could be also something totally different. It could be paid ads. It could be email marketing. It could be SEO, whatever it is, because there's so many digital channels. And I do believe, and I think you did exactly the right thing for you to focus, understand it, and boom, let's see what then happens in the next step. Okay. What also interests me is, what was your first milestone or the first big aha moment once we started working together and you're like, this is how it works, or oh, that stuff actually works.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few there's a few, because for me there was one. The first one was a change in mindset, and realizing that the attention that I was coming from when I was approaching people didn't have to be, oh, I'm trying to sell you something. It could just simply be, I'm genuinely trying to serve you. And just changing that approach to, or from I'm trying to get something out of you, to I just want to see if there's any way that I can serve you, that energetically completely changed things for me, because it just made me less worried about, oh, what am I going to come across as? Am I going to cross as someone who's salesy? Am I going to cross this? Whereas, like, if my intention is genuinely to go and see if I can serve people and see if there's any way that I can help them, that made it a lot easier for me to kind of overcome the hurdle of sales and the hurdle of reaching out to people that I don't know. So I would say that was a big milestone for me. And then another one was actually the first time that I signed a client through connecting with them on LinkedIn and writing a few messages, getting on a call, and found out that there was a way that I could serve them. Then they became a client, and now I've helped them, transform their lives. And so that's been, like, for me, like the great proof that this actually works, and that it's important to make sure that I do send these messages in case there is someone out there who maybe not willing to reach out, or not even aware that I could serve him in any way. And so that's really changed my approach and how I see connecting with people, how I see messaging people on LinkedIn.
Oh, huge one. Thanks a lot for sharing it. Let's also talk about content. How did your content change or evolve to pre-Think Natalia life and then part of the Think Natalia tribe? Was there any kind of change? And if so, how did it manifest itself?
Well, I think there was the biggest change for me was in terms of the utilizing the way LinkedIn presents the content to your advantage. So just having a catchy phrase and getting people to click the see more button, and so it made me play around a bit more with the way that I write my content. Also getting things to be more bite-sized and less long. I used to write really long post content before that, and so shortening it so that people actually have the time to read it, and making it as simple as possible, so that it doesn't feel like, oh, this is a long post, and it's just something like, oh, okay, I can keep reading and I get something out of it pretty quickly. And so so working on that, and utilizing what we know about the algorithm. I mean, we don't always know how it works, but trying to use that to our advantage, and playing around with that. So that's really helped with my content.
And I also remember that inspired is a very maybe exaggerated word. I think I actually pushed you or forced you into creating your first LinkedIn video. And I felt a lot of resistance there. And I mean, no, the majority of people don't like to publish their first LinkedIn video. I also didn't like it. So I was like, it's the LinkedIn thing. But then afterwards, you actually in a post shared with us that public speaking is also one of your biggest fears. And I thought, gosh, I was so ignorant. I could have dig deeper. Actually, not like, it's the normal LinkedIn video fears. Like, no, for you, it was almost double the pressure. So tell us a little bit more about the journey of publishing your first LinkedIn video. And then what is the core message, the deep insight that you want to share with somebody who is in a situation as you were? So somebody who is like, oh, I don't want to do videos and I don't like public speaking. So what's the new Alex telling either the old Alex or somebody who is in a similar position as the old Alex was?
Well, I mean, intellectually, I've always known, and also not only intellectually, like everywhere in my being, I always knew that our greatest growth comes from the areas of our greatest discomfort, essentially. So facing your fears, like, you're always going to grow, you're always going to get stronger, and so that's an important thing I want to do in life. And so I knew this was one of my fears. I knew it was something that I needed to do, and something also that weirdly felt drawn to. I felt drawn to public speaking, because the times that I'm drunk and singing what it's called, It Wasn't Me, Shaggy on karaoke or whatever, then like I actually enjoy singing in front of a crowd, but then when it came to public speaking or just expressing my thoughts or putting words together, I would always freeze, and I would always really struggle. So I knew I wanted to go there, and I guess I kept pushing the video making for the last 2 years since I've been doing this. I kept pushing away the video, making videos, because I'm just not good at it. I can't freeze, and I just freeze in front of a camera. I struggle to, like, I lose all my words. And so I just needed that little push to kind of force me. I mean, it's not force me, because you never forced me, but it was, you challenged me. I think you to ask me what's something that I hate doing, and I was like, I hate ironing. And so you challenged me, and we agreed that if I didn't post the video within a week, I would have to iron all my clothes. And so we did that. And so I just posted the video, and then, what I would say to anyone who's afraid of doing this, well, first of all, yes, that our greatest growth lies within our greatest discomfort, but also that's this kind of putting yourself out there and being vulnerable. It like, people really can relate to that, and they'll relate much more with someone who does a video where you can clearly see that they're nervous, you can clearly see that they're uncomfortable. But I think people relate to that because that's kind of what they wish they could do themselves. And so this being vulnerable, I think, it helps other people be more vulnerable, and it shows that it's okay to be vulnerable. And so I think if you put the focus on the people that you're trying to help as opposed to yourself, that's super powerful, because it changes the way you show up, because you're not showing up for yourself, you're just showing up for the message you want to show, and for the vulnerability that you want to show, that, well, and also that it's okay to be vulnerable, that it's okay to be scared and to be
human. Absolutely. And did anything, because I assume that your mind also went through a lot of drama and fears and what could happen once you publish it, did any of the drama scenarios that your mind, or this tiny little psychopath sitting here on your shoulder, which we all have, did any of these worst case scenarios happen once you published the video? Did, for example, a hater comment, did that video maybe even get more likes or engagement than any other piece of content before that?
Well, I definitely didn't get any like people criticizing or making fun of me, which of course, that's, the fear of putting ourselves out there is often, it links back to a fear of rejection, a fear of not being accepted. And I mean, it was actually the complete opposite, where people really related to this vulnerability and to this putting yourself out there and facing your fears. So it was the complete opposite. And no, I did get a lot of engagement with this, and so it was essentially the complete opposite reaction to the reaction that the little devil was telling me before I posted it.
Yeah, and I remember that I don't know when the next video happened, but it happened relatively quickly. I was like, he got hooked. He liked it. It's like, yes, amazing job done. Perfect. Wonderful. Again, I love stories like that, because almost everybody that I know who uses social media for their personal brand, for their business, for making an impact, went through that. And I thank you for facing your fears and for not listening to that little developed psychopath, because these are those essential moments in life where we have the opportunity to really grow and evolve to the next level, or to say, skip for now and maybe skip again and whatever. So you didn't skip, you faced your fears. What also interests me is, did you somehow benefit from the tribe? Is there a friendship maybe that developed, or a partnership, or an interview, or was it helpful for you that you could learn or observe how the other people think? So what's your relationship to the tribe, and what are some benefits, if there are any?
Yeah, well, I mean, I made some super interesting connections, people whose posts I genuinely enjoy reading, people that I've connected outside of the community, not in person, but at least over Zoom and connecting. And so that's been really amazing. And I think just this entire community has been so supportive, and we all help each other out by engaging with each other's posts. And I think that's been really amazing to have that support community, or community that supports you throughout your LinkedIn journey. And so I think that's been amazing, and a great part of what's made my time at Think Natalia so successful.
Mm-hmm. We also touched upon the topic lead generation and clients when we started talking, but it was a little bit of a side sentence. Let's also invest a few minutes into this topic, because I do believe that creating content is amazing, and facing the things that maybe weren't as natural when it comes to content creation, fantastic. And we all do this to, in the end, grow our business to the next level and help more people. So tell us a little bit more about the lead generation process, and did you also generate a few clients?
Yeah. So I mean, essentially there's one thing that you told me as well, or that you made me realize, was that it's it's very easy to fall into the amount of likes that you get, the amount of comments, and the engagement. And obviously it shouldn't be discounted, because I think it's a great measure of how much we're improving, and you can actually see, how the posts are resonating, and how things are changing, and how you're growing just by the amount of engagement that you get. But it's important not to get too caught up in that as a measure of success, because the measure of success is actually whether you're growing your business. So one of the things you told me was to kind of detach myself from the likes, from the comments, and realize that the goal here is obviously to help get more leads, or allow you to help more people. And so focusing on the leads instead of the likes and the comments has really changed how I see things, and how I approach things. And so as a result, yes, I've gotten multiple leads and multiple clients from the strategy that we've put in place. And so that's really helped me. And now, I measure the success of my business through the amount of clients that I get, or the amount of leads that I get, not the amount of likes, or the amount of comments, or the amount of engagement.
And as you said, it's beautiful and it's part of it. And I know way too many people who get stuck in it. I mean, same here. Like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, why didn't this post perform very well? And why did this one? And like, bruh, it's like, no, it's the wrong perspective that you're taking here. Creating content and getting appreciation, or seeing that this inspired another person, fantastic. And when you have a client and you can help the client evolve to the next level, or reconnect to their purpose, or make a bigger impact, then these people are going to go out there and do the same for other people. What is more important in this relationship? That your ego feels flattered and you think, yeah, you're a great content creator, or you helped another soul reconnecting to what it is that you truly want to do, or help more individuals. So again, also thanks for pointing that out, because it's easy to get trapped in the likes and engagement and social media game. And I also needed quite some time to understand that. But I also invested in a coach who then helped me overcome it. And I'm very happy that I can pass that on to other individuals as well. What you mentioned earlier, the mindset shift, is that also the biggest transformation that you're proud of? Or is there anything else that you say, when I look at myself before I started working with you and the person that I am today, is there anything else, any transformation, inner, outer, online, offline, that you feel super proud of, because you say, I'm definitely the next level of myself, or just doing that help me get so much more clarity, or so much more energy, or help more people, or whatever it is? So did we already talk about that, or is there another story or another example that you want to share with us?
Well, so I think that's definitely one of the main ones, and changing kind of my way of viewing not only how I approach clients, but how other people randomly approach me. So we talked about this like the other day, where I often felt that anyone who connects with me on LinkedIn, they want to sell me something. And so if I'm thinking this myself, then of course other people are going to think that when I reach out to them. So kind of changing how I see just other people approaching me had a massive impact already on how I approach other people and how I see myself approaching other people. So small nuances and small change in perspectives like that can have a massive influence on the way you approach things. But then another thing that I want to mention as well is that, you know, working with you for me was a very big investment, and that investment was a reflection of how much value I assigned to my personal growth and how much value I assigned to the changes that I wanted to make and to the growth that I wanted to make. And so getting or making that investment, although it felt really hard at the time, or it was like a big investment for me at the time, that was one of the most important things that I did. Like more important than maybe anything that we learned together, or that you taught me, or that I learned throughout the program, but just that investment in myself and me putting down this large sum of money and telling myself, this is how much I value myself. This is how much I value my own growth. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, so powerful. I had a conversation with, what was it? It was, I can't pinpoint it because I had so many conversations over the last days, but it was definitely somebody from the tribe who said, yeah, Natalia, it was Yuri, exactly, who said, you know, making that investment was a little bit challenging because he, on the one side, wanted to make that money and wanted to ask his clients to pay that or invest that into him, but he was not willing to invest that into himself. And I said, oh, that's interesting, don't you think so? And for him, also overcoming that and understanding, yeah, this is how it feels, made him more compassionate and understanding towards his own clients, had a huge impact on his self-worth, allowed him to also increase his own prices. He made the money back, you know, within a period of, I don't know what it was, I think 6 months or something. So in the end, it was another example of how taking that leap of faith is so important. I mean, as long as you know that this is, because I think there's sometimes the mind being a little bit crazy, which you know is mostly temporary. If your gut feeling tells you that's the right thing to do, listen to the gut feeling and allow the mind to be a little bit dramatic. Most probably the mind or the ego wants you to stay where you are, but your wisdom or your intuition will guide you towards, yep, that's the next thing. So exciting that this was also for you. Yay! Love it. Okay, as we're slowly coming to an end, let me have a look. Is there anything else I would like to ask you? We talked about the tribe, we talked about lead gen, we talked about achievements. No, I think that's basically it. If there was something that I forgot, you let me know. And if not, then who are the people that you would like to connect with? And is LinkedIn the best way to get back to you?
Yeah, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can go on my website, which is just alexlifecoach.com, and subscribe to my newsletter. But essentially, I mean, LinkedIn is probably the best option. So you can get an experience of me before you need to decide on making any investment or want to even reach out to me. So connect with me. Essentially, anyone from the corporate world who, or maybe their life looks great on paper, but then deep down they feel that something's wrong, something's missing, or that you feel that you're on the hamster wheel, or you're chasing the carrot and you're ready to get off, but without necessarily having to change your job or change anything about your life, just learning to kind of see life differently so you can live life differently.
Hmm. I'll make sure to link to your profile or to tag you in the post. And once
Amazing.
again, Alex, thank you so much for doing the work, for trusting me, for trusting the whole team, because it's not only me, it's also Maya and Marianne, and in the past it was also Silke and Daniel. So everybody who allowed you, or for trusting us, for allowing us to guide you, for experimenting, for doing things that felt a little bit in the beginning, for testing things, and in the process evolving to the next most amazing version of yourself. And yeah, I hope we keep in touch. And I also deeply hope that we're going to meet in person in the very near
Me too.
future, either in Europe or here in the Middle East. Who knows? So, once again, a big, big, big thank you, kudos, and keep it up, Alex.
Thanks a lot, Natalia. Thank you.